What's up? Alpha Lion Simba here, and welcome to part 15 of sentencing Disney villains for their crimes. As always, I am your judge, jury, and executioner. So, let's summon our bailiff, counselor, and prosecution lawyer, Jiminy Cricket.
Thank you, Alpha Lion Simba. Like always, I'm here to help you.
Thanks, Jiminy. And so, tonight, we shall be sentencing the villains from Meet the Robinsons, The Princess and the Frog, and Tangled. So, with no further ado, court is now officially in session.
Our first film in this week's docket is Meet the Robinsons. So, our first villain to stand trial is Goob, aka Bowler Hat Guy. Now, first of all, he is charged with theft since he stole the original time machine. That, and he's also guilty of 2 counts of criminal coercion as he forces a frog and later a T-Rex in trying to aid him in his plans. And he also kidnaps Lewis and brings him back in time to try and force him to fix the memory scanner, which is a charge of kidnapping. And he tried to present the memory scanner as his own idea. That's a charge of attempted plagiarism. But in light of the fact that the bowler hat guy did redeem himself, his sentence shall be reduced. I think that's a splendid idea, Alpha. And so, bowler hat guy is sentenced to 4 years of community service. And now, we shall sentence DOR 15, or Doris. Now, she helped out Bowler Hat Guy with his plans, so that's a charge of aiding and abetting. Yup. And, in spite of the fact that she was originally invented to help people, but tried to take over the world, that's a charge of attempted enslavement. And so, I think there's only one fitting sentence for Doris. Smash it with a hammer! Alright, time to take it down to New Orleans, because the next film is The Princess and the Frog. So the first villain from that film to stand trial will be Dr. Facilier, aka the Shadowman. Now, firstly, he always cheats his customers, because whenever he grants their wishes, they always backfire on them, so we can get him for extortion. Yup, and he managed to persuade Lawrence to help him in his plans, which is a charge of criminal coercion. And when he turns Naveen into a frog and holds him hostage so as to obtain blood for his talisman, that can be attributed to kidnapping. Plus, him stepping on Ray is a charge of both animal cruelty and murder. Speaking of which, he also tried to kill Big Daddy LaBeouf with a voodoo doll so as to obtain his fortune, getting him a charge of attempted murder. And so, I hereby sentence Dr. Facilier to life in prison without parole. The Shadowman has proven himself to be a very dangerous man. Who knows what sort of terrors he would unleash on New Orleans if he were allowed to roam free. Up next is Prince Naveen's former butler, Lawrence. Now, Lawrence plays an active part in Dr. Facilier's scheme, which is a charge of aiding and abetting. Yup. And said part was disguising himself as Naveen via the talisman so as to woo Charlotte and marry her. Since he was impersonating Naveen, that's a charge of identity theft. And so, Lawrence shall be sentenced to 13 years behind bars. Now at last we see the light, because our last film in this week's docket is Tangled, starting with the Stabbington Brothers. Now, firstly, they were already wanted thieves, so that's a charge of theft. And later on, they agreed to assist Mother Gothel in her attempt to recapture Rapunzel, getting them a charge of aiding and abetting. And when they were arrested the first time, one of them knocked down a palace guard so as to escape, which gets them a charge of battery on an officer. And they also attempted to kidnap Rapunzel to help sell her for her hair, which is a charge of attempted kidnapping. And so, I think that the Stabbington Brothers are deserving of nothing less than life in prison without parole. And our last villain to stand trial for this week is none other than Mother Gothel. Now, firstly, she is charged with kidnapping, because she kidnapped Rapunzel when she was a baby just for her magic hair. Yup, and given the way she treated Rapunzel as she was growing up, she is guilty of mental abuse.
Your Honor, you accuse me of mental abuse? Why, I took her in. I cared for her needs. Don't you have kids of your own?
No, I do not.
Well, then you can't know what it's like.
I object, Your Honor.
Sustained, Mr. Cricket. I may not have children, but I don't need children to know that you were not a good mother figure to Rapunzel.
The mental abuse that you gave towards Rapunzel consisted of insulting her to her face while claiming you were just joking when it was painfully obvious that they were hurtful. Plus, you constantly gaslit her and lied to her, convincing her to be afraid of the outside world.
All right, Your Honor, you caught me. I did it. I raised Rapunzel. I did everything in my power to make her happy and safe with me. Surely you know how terrible the outside world is, and you have to make sure your children avoid this kind of situation. Surely, Your Honor, you can agree with that.
While it is true that you should protect your children from the evils of the world, it's equally important to teach them that there is just as much good in the world as there is evil. In fact, probably more good. Something you failed to do with Rapunzel just for your own selfish gain. So don't you dare try to pull that card on me.
And let's not forget your other crimes, Gothel. You are charged with criminal coercion, as you recruited the Stabbington Brothers to help you when Rapunzel finally got her taste of freedom. Plus, you are charged with attempted murder, because you stabbed Eugene Fitzherbert from behind when he came to rescue Rapunzel. And therefore, based on the nature of your crimes, Gothel, I believe you are deserving of nothing less than the death penalty. And Your execution manner shall be hanging.
Death. Oh, I see how it is. Judge Alpha knows best. Judge Alpha knows it all now. All because a little cricket said so.
Order in the court!
Oh, Judge Alpha knows best. Fine, if you're so sure of it, the death it is so.
That's quite enough, thank you. Bruton, take her to the gallows.
Yes, Your Honor. All right, Gothel. Do you have anything to say before your sentence is carried out?
Mother knows.
Well, that was it. Part 15 of sentencing Disney villains for their crimes. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And again, I'd like to thank Jiminy for his help.
My pleasure. And I'll see you next time.
Well, I'll see you in part 16. But in the meantime, this session of court is now adjourned.